Way down, way down.
She's like you, very much like you.
Way down,
I am not whatever it is you think I am.
way down.
She needs our help.
Someone will come along.
Someone has.
So I saw Logan, and you should too, but there's a lot to talk about, and we got to unpack this thing here. This is a really good performance from Hugh Jackman. Patrick Stewart does, he's always good. And then you get the newcomer Daphne Keane playing X-23. This is pretty much Hugh Jackman's swan song to the character of Wolverine, who has come to basically define his entire acting career. Which is weird because it started off he didn't really want to play the character, and now he really fell in love with Wolverine, and he stated on many occasions that he wants the character in the Marvel universe, not in Fox's hands. And I agree. It would be great to see Wolverine interacting with the rest of Marvel and not just 5 characters. Gosh, there's so much to talk about here. Okay, so any comic book fans who were hoping to see that this was the origin story of X-23 or this was the Old Man Logan story, you're going to be disappointed because it's not that. It's basically 10% of this, 10% of this, and they cram it together. And what you get is a pretty good movie. It's not great. It's not Dark Knight. It's not Civil War to me. It's not Winter Soldier. It's not Guardians. But it's a good movie. And the reason I like those more is because those were... They paid closer attention to the source material and they respect it more. And this was just, let's tell a cool story with Wolverine. And let's not get into the real nuts and bolts of these real stories and dialogues. Let's just let's just turn on the cameras, write this, done. And it was a good choice probably because the actual comic book is you probably can't do the actual comic book because it's so outlandish and so big and so colorful and it's got characters it's got Hulk and Hawkeye and all these other kind of characters and so you couldn't do the Old Man Logan story, and then the X-23 origin story would take a whole movie basically to actually create her, how she was actually developed. So this is kind of like a mixture of Children of Men meets Terminator at some point. So let's kind of break it down here. We joined Logan in 2029. He is now a limo driver. He's broken and he's old and he's tired of fighting, and he's kind of just ready to just call it quits. He's trying to earn enough money to take himself and Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, basically from where they are onto this boat, and they just want to sell off. Basically, they just want to just call it quits. Let's just go over here. Professor X is having some issues. His brain is kind of deteriorating a little bit. If you remember, he died in X-Men 3, so I don't know how he's in this movie. You do see he awakens in another character, but he's in the Charles Xavier body, so I don't know what's going on there. Whatever. Push it to the side. From there, so basically, also helping out Wolverine is a mutant by the name of Caliban, who's a pretty cool mutant, actually. I was excited to see. When I first saw Caliban, I was like, okay, cool, Caliban's in this. And then you get this, and you're like, this is what Fox does. That they throw every side character into a hat, just pick one out and go, let's ruin this character. Perfect. So from there, basically Wolverine eventually gets caught up in this other storyline where X-23 needs help. And Wolverine doesn't really want to help her at all. He just really cares about himself at this point. He's just trying to make some money. And he is forcefully brought into the fold, and he is forcefully made to help her. And he does not like it the entire way through the movie. And it was pretty, refreshing to have that and not just have this knight in shining armor. And that's what's always been the cool thing about Wolverine. Along the way, you get a really, really good performance from Hugh Jackman. And I don't say that lightly, and I hate that he will not get any Oscar nomination for this. And I say that with the full force of what I'm saying is his role in this. You can tell that he put forth a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and you get that back on the screen. Hugh Jackman is incredible in this. I would say he's probably as good as Heath Ledger was in Dark Knight. The difference being that Christopher Nolan made Dark Knight, and that is one of the best movies, comic movies of all time. It's just a great movie in general of all time, and that's why he got the nomination, and that's why he won. And Hugh Jackman is in the third film of this Wolverine series that is basically a bag of crap on fire, and then one golden moment, and then terribleness. So he will not get any type of buzz that he really deserves. It's kind of the equivalent of watching Sylvester Stallone play Rocky. He just plays that character so well, and then he always finds new ways to take the character and go somewhere else with it. And you don't think it's possible, but as much as Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine and will always be Wolverine. I don't want to get into any spoilers in the film, so we're gonna cut that here. You have got 3 seconds to get out of here, and then I'm gonna go into spoilers. Okay, so there are a couple things that annoyed me in this film. You find out that X-23 basically was made and cloned in this factory, this just privatized company, whatever. The thing is that so all these girls are all born, and boys are all born in these women, right? All these women are all from Mexico. They're all young girls, and when they come out, they all look entirely different. And they all have different accents, and they all speak different languages. It makes no sense. Your accent is basically brought on through your environment as you're raised. If you're raised in Mexico and everybody around you has an accent, that's how you are going to sound. So that just feels like it's very nitpicky, but it's just structurally in a story, it's just stupid. I don't know. Push that to the side. Another thing that annoyed me, I do not like that there are X-Men comic books in this. I don't like that they're acknowledging the existence of the X-Men. I mean, who wrote these? Who drew these characters? Who knew anything about these things? It's just so I'm not sure that was a slight at the audience, because at one point Wolverine says that only 20% of this is even true.
We got ourselves an X-Men fan. Maybe a quarter of it happened.
And that might be because fans constantly talk about how their continuity is the worst and how none of it makes any sense. So maybe they're saying that their stories are what matters, and all the other Marvel comic books, all of those didn't happen, and all those were fake. So that might be a slight. Let's move that to the side. I do not like that the villain at the end was basically X-24, which is this clone version of Wolverine. I get it in a movie structure sense that you needed this plot device to basically elicit certain emotions and move the story in a certain structure, and having Wolverine be the one who kills Professor X to get a certain reaction from both their characters was needed. And showing that a Wolverine could be cloned was also needed in case you wanted to maybe bring him back in the future or something for a cameo at some point. I get that, but in terms of a thematic comic book fan, it makes no sense that they would go 13 back in the program of these X weapons, basically, to find Wolverine, who is not the most perfect weapon. It makes no sense that they would pick him out of all these characters to be this is the one right here. So it just, whatever. Move that to the side. I think that the emotions at the end of the movie were very forced upon you, and they were very cheap. At no point do you get the satisfaction of seeing Wolverine eventually grow and accept X-23 as his daughter, and he's like, yes, no, she's not my real daughter, but she's a girl and needs help, and I'm here for her. You get that, but you never get that he is fully changed. At the end, as he's dying in this battle that was very anticlimactic, and he's going with it's him versus X-24, the Terminator, basically. It's just, he's had cooler fights in the movie, and you get this at the end, and it's just whatever. And then she's calling him daddy, and you're just like, I get it. You're pushing these out there to make people sad, and it worked because people were crying all around me. But I just thought it was kind of cheap. So pushing that to the side, I was hoping that Hugh Jackman would actually live through this, and he could become the new professor of his very own school. In the comic books, Wolverine actually takes on the head mantle of running the X Mansion, and it's very cool to see how he does things differently than Scott did things, or how Storm did things, or how Jean Grey did things, or how Professor X did things. And so it would have been cool to have Wolverine doing what he felt was right, and raising up these kids and stuff. And that would have been really, I mean, because then like Hugh Jackman wouldn't have to be like in shape all the time, and he could just keep playing the character and let this next generation of kids take over. And it would have been neat because Fox would have finally have had the movement to actually make their own stories and not have to like crap on the last 50 years of comic books. They would finally have had their own stuff, and it would have been totally cool. But they didn't decide to go that way. But who knows? Maybe like they'll have Wolverine back at some point. X-23 eventually does take over as Wolverine in the comic books after her and Wolverine fight at one point, and she actually wins because she's a little bit better than him. Her entire body is not adamantium, and so her healing powers are actually a little bit stronger because of that. It's very cool. So those are all the spoilers that I'm going to get into. I think you should go see it. It's definitely worth your time. I enjoyed it fully, and not because of the whole comic book thing or whatever, but I mean like my gripes are so small. I just think it might be too little, too late for the whole Wolverine franchise to allow Hugh Jackman to get the praise that Chris Evans gets, and that Robert Downey Jr. got, and that Heath Ledger got, and that Christian Bale got, and he fully deserves it. So this was a Geek at the Movies. Until next time.